Hey guys, we're back with our final lesson for Level 10. This is called Indirect Measurement. Level 10, Stage 3, 7th grade math. Taking a look at our overview, we are now on Stage 3 called Indirect Measurement. Taking a look at our state standard, we're going to solve problems involving scale drawings of geometric figures, including computing actual lengths and areas from a scale drawing and reproducing a scale drawing at a different scale. Taking a look at the Stage 3 overview for the villains, what is indirect measurement? And for the cheat codes, how do you find the missing length of a similar figure? And how do you find the height of an object by measuring its shadow? We're going to take a look at all of that in today's video. What is indirect measurement? Indirect measurement is the ability to know the height of an object, like a tree that would be really difficult to get a tape measure out and measure, based on a second characteristic, usually a shadow, which would be easier to measure because it's laying on the ground. How do you find the height of an object using indirect measurement? Well, step number 1, you want to make a tic-tac-toe board. Step number 2, under the smiley face, you're going to write down height and shadow. Step number 3, next to the smiley face, you're going to write down figure 1 and figure 2. Step number 4, you're going to fill in the tic-tac-toe board with numbers. Step number 5, cross multiply. And as always, step number 6, we're going to divide by the coefficient. Example number 1. A tree casts a shadow that is 48 feet long. A 6-foot man, Captain America, casts a shadow that is 9.6 feet long. How tall is the tree? Well, this is kind of neat because we know how tall the man is. And measuring a shadow is not that difficult. You just need to get a tape measure out to measure the ground. But the hard part is knowing how tall that tree is. While using indirect measurement, we'll be able to figure out how tall the tree is. Let's check it out. Example number 1. So we've got our tic-tac-toe board set up. We've got the smiley face. Next to that, we're putting tree and man. Now, I said in the step-by-step instructions that you're going to put figure 1 and figure 2. I like this better because we're being more specific what those figures are. It's a tree and it's a man. This is going to make it easier for our setup where we put our numbers. On the left side, we've got height and shadow. The height of the tree, we don't know. The shadow, we do know, is 48 feet. Captain America is 6 feet tall, according to the story, and his shadow is 9.6 feet. So we're going to cross multiply here, 48 times 6, and that's going to give us 288. Cross multiplying 9.6 times our question mark gives us 9.6x. We're going to divide by the coefficient of 9.6, and we get an answer of 30. That means that we now know the height of the tree. The height of the tree is 30 feet. This is great because we didn't know how tall it was, but by using the shadows of both the tree and the man, we were able to figure out how tall it is. Example number 2, find the value of r. So we've got two similar triangles. We have a diagonal of 10 yards, a base of 8 yards. We have a base of r and a diagonal of 5 yards. We're going to set up a tic-tac-toe board to solve this problem. So we're going to write down figure 1 and figure 2, but instead of putting base and height, we're going to say diagonal and base. The diagonal was 10, and the base was 8 for figure number 1. For figure number 2, our smaller figure, the diagonal was only 5. So how long is the length of the base? Well, we're going to multiply the 8 times the 5 to get 40, and we multiply 10 times r to get 10r. We'll divide both sides by 10, and we find out that r is worth 4. That means the value of r is 4 yards. Example number 3. Find the length of side n. So a lot of kids get really confused here, and I want you to observe that there are two triangles here. Here is one triangle, and then we've got a second triangle right here. It's overlapping. So there's two triangles, a yellow triangle and a blue triangle. For yellow triangle, we don't know its base. We don't know what n is, but for yellow triangle, it has a height of 9. For the blue triangle, the bigger triangle, it has a base of 16 and a height of 12. A height of 12. So you can kind of disregard the 3. That's not even going to be part of our tic-tac-toe board. All right, so we're setting up our tic-tac-toe board with figure 1 and figure 2. Height and base. The height of figure number 1 is 12, and the base is 16. That was for our blue triangle, the bigger triangle. For the smaller triangle, it had a height of 9, so the base is probably going to be smaller than 16. Let's go ahead and cross multiply 16 times 9, and we're going to cross multiply 12 times n. When we multiply 16 times 9, we get 144. Next thing we're going to do is divide that by 12, and we get 12. So that means that the value of n is 12 meters. Bzzz, be careful. A common mistake that students make when solving for similar figures is that they use addition or subtraction to solve for a missing side. Don't do that. Be sure to remember to use multiplication or division because similar figures are proportional.
And finally, our motivational poster of the day, the expert in anything was once a beginner. So interesting to think about that somebody, I want you to think of somebody right now who's really, really, really good at what they do. I mean, like awesome at what they do. They were once a beginner. Somebody who's great at football was once a beginner. Somebody who was great at hockey or basketball or whatever, cooking, I mean, whatever that you could think of, they were once a beginner. And what does that mean to you? That means that even though you're a beginner at something, it means that you could become an expert someday if you put in the time and you put in the effort. So keep up the good work and just know that you are slowly, or in some cases quickly, turning into an expert. Good luck on your test. See ya!